Hi everyone, it's Rev Krista here. We're still in January and still exploring our monthly theme of living liberating love through the practice of story. So I invite you to join us this coming Sunday as we celebrate Martin Luther King Day, as well as prepare for the inauguration on Monday. We'll be talking about the story of a dream, what it meant during Martin Luther King's time and what it means today. But I also want to take time again this morning to read you another story. So if you have a few minutes, settle in and get comfortable. Our story for today is called Desmond Gets Free by Matt Meyer, illustrated by Kim Pham. The dedication says it is for all those working to build a new world of justice, equity, and compassion. Desmond the mouse lived in the most beautiful meadow in all the land. Every morning, Desmond woke up with the sunrise and would spend the day playing in the meadow. And every evening, Desmond would go to sleep in the middle of the meadow beneath the beautiful starry sky. One night, though, Desmond awoke when it was still dark out. He tried to roll over to a more comfortable spot, but something wasn't right. Desmond realized that his tail was stuck right to the ground and beginning to throb with pain. He felt behind him, and there was a huge boulder that seemed to have fallen in the middle of the meadow, just on his tail. Desmond pushed on the boulder and tugged on his tail. He pushed on the boulder and tugged on his tail. And he pushed and tugged and pushed and tugged, but it was no use. When he was out of breath and had just about given up, he saw a giraffe in the grass nearby. Good news, he thought. "Oh, giraffe!" Desmond cried. "Could you please push the boulder a few inches to either direction so that I could go free?" The giraffe looked at Desmond and laughed the way giraffes do. "Silly mouse," said the giraffe. "That's no boulder. That's an elephant that's fallen asleep in the middle of the meadow, just on your tail." "Well, if you could just wake the elephant up and ask him to roll over just a few inches in the other direction, then I could go free." "Well," replied the giraffe, "you know what they say about letting sleeping elephants lie. I find it's best not to get involved in another animal's business. I find it's best to remain neutral in times like this." Desmond quietly replied, "Well, I don't appreciate your neutrality." The giraffe wandered off, and Desmond tried calling out to the elephant to wake him up, but those giant ears were too far away on the other side of that giant elephant body. So again, Desmond pushed on the elephant and tugged on his tail. He pushed and he tugged and he pushed and he tugged, but it was no use. When he was out of breath and had just about given up again, a gazelle wandered by. "Oh, "Oh, Gazelle," he cried. "Oh, Gazelle, it seems an elephant has fallen asleep just on my tail in the middle of the meadow. I'm stuck and it hurts. I wonder if you could gently wake him and ask him to roll over a few inches in the other direction so I might go free." What do you think the Gazelle said? "Well," said the Gazelle, "I see your problem there. But you know what they say about sleeping elephants. I find it's best not to get involved in other animals' business. I find it's best to remain neutral in times like these." Desmond replied, almost to himself this time, "I do not appreciate your neutrality." Desmond tried to call out to the elephant again. He tried again to push the giant animal away. He tried again and again to tug his little tail free, but it was no use. When he was out of breath and had just about given up for the last time, he saw another mouse wandering through the meadow. "My name is Nelson. Nelson, this giant elephant has fallen asleep on my tail in the middle of the meadow. I wonder if you might run over and call out to his giant ears and ask him to roll over just a few inches so I could go free?" Desmond asked. "Of course," said Nelson. Nelson ran all the way to the other end of the giant elephant body, and he called to those giant elephant ears at the top of that giant elephant head. But the elephant didn't budge. The elephant heard Nelson's small voice far away, but he felt too comfortable to move. Nelson ran back to Desmond, a little out of breath, and said, "I have an idea. Don't move." And off he ran. "I won't," muttered Desmond. A little while later, though, Nelson emerged through the tall grass, and he wasn't alone. Nelson found 3 other mouse friends to help him, and each one of them also brought another 3 friends. The whole group of them ran over to the giant head of the giant elephant. One mouse scrambled up to the shoulders of another, and another mouse scrambled up on her shoulders. And then, one after another, they climbed up until the whole group of them had formed a long mouse ladder right up the side of that elephant. At last, Nelson climbed up the shoulders of his mouse friends, on one on top of the other, until he was way up on top of that giant elephant. The head standing next to that giant elephant ear. "Excuse me," he called out right into the ear. "It seems you've fallen asleep on my friend's tail in the middle of this meadow. I wonder if you could roll over just a few inches in other direction so he might go free." The giant elephant made a giant low groan. "I'm comfortable just where I am. Go away." So Nelson, asked more of his mouse friends to climb up. One by one, they helped each other up the side of the elephant. One by one, they called out into that giant elephant ear on top of that giant elephant head. Again, the giant elephant made a giant low groan. Grumph! I'm comfortable where I am. Go away. Then Nelson had an idea. He whispered to the mice, and then all at once they yelled out together, "Excuse us! It seems you've fallen asleep on our friend's tail in the middle of this meadow. Roll over a few inches in the other direction so he can go free." What do you think happened? This time, all those voices together, right next to the giant elephant's ear, were too loud to ignore. "I was comfortable where I was, but I'll move over if you just agree to stop making such a racket," the elephant cried out. And then the elephant rolled over just a few inches in the other direction. Nelson and the other mice helped each other climb back down, and Desmond was finally free. Desmond and Nelson and all their mouse friends spent the rest of the beautiful day playing in the middle of that beautiful meadow. That is the end. I hope you enjoyed today's story, and I look forward to seeing you either later in the week or at service on Sunday or some other time. Hope all is well. We'll see you soon.